The Minister.
Mr Speaker, I thank the member for his question, and indeed it's a timely question because very soon in this House we will be debating in the final stages the Social Security Amendment, more generous means testing for youth payment bills. And I think that in large part Member for O'Connor will realise that bill had its genesis in a range of complaints that had emanated from rural communities about some of the difficulties that they were experiencing in accessing appropriate education for students in their families. And in fact, I recall the member having spoken to me about this issue some time ago after a forum in your electorate where a parent from Albany and the great electorate O'Connor had described spending up to 80 hours trying to help their child fill out the necessary documentation which went to the issue of asset testing for that child and that child's family to be eligible for the relevant payments for study. That was clearly an untenable situation and it left those families at great disadvantage. So, Member, I congratulate you for your great advocacy. And of course, as you'd be aware, and the timeliness of the question goes to the point that the Social Services Legislation Amendment, more generous means testing for youth payment bill, will be debated very shortly in this parliament. What it will do, it will remove the complex and unnecessary means tests and improve the operation of parental income tests. So the changes will help students from regional and rural families, like those that you spoke to, an Albany member, better support the transition of their children from school to further study, including those children who continue to study beyond Year 12. And the bill was introduced following an examination of issues by an interdepartmental committee on access to higher education for regional and remote students at the urging of Senator Bridget McKenzie, who you had a great relationship with on this matter, yourself, Member for O'Connor, and other backbench colleagues. The committee held 14 regional education forums, including one in Albany that I've spoken about. It was attended by over 65 people, and they were very obviously eager to discuss this. What the proposed changes will mean is very much simplified rules by more closely aligning the parental means test assessment for youth payments with the Family Tax Benefit A assessment, which is subject only to an income test based on adjusted taxable income, and the latter, the Family Tax Benefit Part A, having no family assets test or family actual means test. And what that will mean across Australia, Member, is about 1,200 families from regional and remote areas will become eligible for an increase in payment from the removal of the family actual means test. They're also expected to benefit from the removal of the family assets test. So what you'll see is farming families who will not have farm assets counted towards the test for their children accessing youth allowance. And all the families that we've looked at, you will see a benefit through an increase of their rate of youth allowance, which is very important, and that will be about $7,000 per year, Member. So well done.
The Prime